Shalom Yasharala, this your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, I can pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So real quick, I want to jump into this here article. It's going to be a pretty quick lesson, all right? And we're not going to speak too much on this here article itself, and we're going to, watch the words that come up into this, all right? Because it's a really sticky situation. You know how it is. The more important thing is that the information go out instead of, using the little words. So we'll get around that and everything else like that. But the point is, as far as the prophecy speaking loud and clear, all right, we understand of how, the scriptures tell us about the dangers that we will be facing, in these coming times and how things will be getting more and more trying for us in these latter days. All right, so I wanted to go ahead and read a little bit of this here article of something that Russia is proposing to do over there in Russia. All right, we know how these things happen to spread and everything else like that. So it says, prison for those that don't want to participate. People who promote refusal of the participation should be made criminally responsible, suggest Russian officials. All right, and we'll refer to it as participation. It says, with Russia's campaign to inoculate its citizens against the pandemic being hampered by widespread anti-participators, sentiment, a local official has proposed introducing penalties for those who call for others to refuse taking part. Right, so they're looking to expand laws now to basically criminalize or penalize these people that are speaking against these things. All right, it says, in a letter seen by RT, the first deputy chairman of Leningrad region Civic Chamber, as Federal Minister of Justice Konstantin Chunchenko to introduce criminal liability for spreading anti-jab propaganda, noting that some people promote fake information about the potential dangers of this participation. I ask you to assess the idea of amending the criminal code to include responsibility for those calling for others to refuse participating on non-medical grounds. All right, non-medical, they're like, hey, the Lord said not to do this. Well, that's non-medical, so hey, we got to put penalties on you for these things, right? Vladimir Petrov wrote, also noting that there should be an extra penalty for those medical professionals who disseminate false and harmful information about the jabs. It says the Leningrad official also asked the minister to create a law targeting those who purchase false passports or certificates. According to Petrov, these measures will promote a more responsible attitude towards participating. On Monday, a resident of Russia's Kurgan region was fined 30,000 rubles or $400 after posting deliberately false information about the consequences of the jab and against the pandemic on the internet. All right, so they already have fines going out. Earlier this year, Russian President Vladimir Putin signed a law to toughen penalties on those who spread knowingly false information that lead to grave consequences. Depending on the severity, those found guilty could be fined up to 2 million rubles or $27,000 or face imprisonment for up to 5 years. All right, so hey, as you see what they're pushing for and what they're already moving towards, hey, you can expect this pretty much everywhere, all right, one day or another. It says, over the past few months, the Kremlin have been strongly pushing pushing the jab against the pandemic. Speaking during the annual direct call-in show, Putin told the Russian public that the jab is the only way to prevent the further spread of the epidemic. All right. So basically, that was a pretty tough article to read with all these words in there. But nevertheless, you guys get the point. All right. Like I said, we got to be kind of careful about how we speak on these things. Hey, as you see in the article, they over here trying to over there, they got fines on you if you speak out against these things. All right. And they're pushing for imprisonment. All right. Over here, all we got to worry about is them taking our videos down and things like that. But nevertheless, again, we're not speaking on what's going on with this illness or the things like that. We're just reading the news and the article about the laws they're trying to change and the penalties they're trying to implement for people breaking their laws that they set forth. This is what this here lesson is about. All right, not to get it confused, but let's just jump into the scriptures, all right? Because we know these things are all prophecy, right? Let me actually start there. These things were all written aforetime for our learning and our understanding. Let's go to Habakkuk chapter 2 and start at verse 1. It says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what he will say unto me and what I shall answer when I am reproved. All right. So we just being the watchmen, all right, all we're doing is relaying the message. We're just the messengers, all right? We're not coming up with the so-called information that's being pushed out there or anything like that. Hey, we're just relaying the message, all right? It says, verse 2, and Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it, all right? And so, again, like the scripture also say, publish and conceal not. This is what we're doing. We're the Lord is giving us the spirit to understand and discern these here scriptures, and what we're doing is we're giving the children of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right, we're giving you the warnings that's coming from the Most High. We're just we're just delivering the message, all right, more or less than coming out of our own woodwork or what we have going on, all right. This is more or less what the Most High is telling us, giving us warnings from the things to come, all right, via what the prophecies mean to to prophesize, to say before, all right. These are the visions that the prophets beforehand seen coming on the earth before they actually came to pass. All right. Verse 3 says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. And a lot of people clowned us, laughed at us about these things. Oh, this ain't that, this ain't what y'all think it is and everything else like that. But ultimately, now you seeing it starting to speak for itself, man. All right. When these things first came out, people was like, oh, y'all just spreading propaganda. Y'all spreading these things, and y'all spreading lies. Y'all just coming up with fake news and everything else like that. But not only did we tell you what it was, all right, we told you how they was going to implement it. And we also told you about the penalties that they would force onto you after the fact if you don't want to participate in it. All right. Now, don't believe what we say. Believe what you see. All right. You see, we've been telling you these things. And now, as you see, are they not coming to pass? Right. There's some people out there that'll tell you the opposite of, oh, this is what this is, or this is what that is. Let's say, how does it say? Let me put it, MOTB, right? They say that is like, so-called black men sleeping with the so-called white woman. Well, you don't have no news article saying that, if a black man want to sleep with a white woman, they're going to start introducing fines and penalties and throwing them in jail. All right. But as we telling you about these things, what do you see? Well, we just reading the article. If they don't want to participate in this is what your penalty is going to be, man. This is what we're fighting for, your penalty to be, if you want to talk against it, go against it. And if you don't want to participate, hey, we have penalties for you. It says the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. All right. And again, it's speaking loud and clear, and it's not lying. Right. It's clear as day what it is. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. And a lot of people used to tell us back in the olden days, a couple years back and before, y'all always speaking on the same topic. That ain't coming to pass. It's June, ain't no chip. But now, guess what? Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. And guess what? It ain't tarrying. Right now, it's out here dancing in front of your face right now, man. All right. This is what you have to deal with right now. This is the top thing on the news. It's speaking loud and clear on all the headlines right now. All right. Revelation 13 and 15. All right. And he had power. I can read 15 as well, too. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. All right. Because ultimately they have this one world order system that they want to have in place. All right. They want to have all these things put in place so they can, these Edomites can dominate the whole earth. But if you go against their agenda, what do? They want to X you out. They either want to cancel you, just like on a way lower level. If you don't speak on the things they want you to speak about, like if you speak against the community, right? If you an actor or an actress and you speak against the community, they pretty much cancel you, all right? Because you're not playing ball with them. You're going against what their narratives are, right? And that's just dealing with just the quote-unquote community. You know what community I'm talking about. But if you speak out against them, that's what they're doing to you, right? So how much more when you don't want to get in line when it comes to, the New World Order? Because they're trying to put together their New World Order right now, man. All right. And if you're not complying with it, you see that they're trying to push for, they already have fines and penalties like that, but they're now also trying to push for, imprisonment. All right. And things like that, because ultimately, this is what it's going to all lead to. If you don't want to bow down to the image of the beast, then you're going to be put to death. All right. Or thrown in prison. Verse 16, and he causeth all. All right. And this should be a key word. At the end, it shall speak and not lie. All right. Again, you ain't got to believe what we saying, but just look at what we saying and look around and see if it's actually happening. Do you not see something going out globally around the whole earth, that everybody's pretty much having to conform to the same guidelines? All right, all the same guidelines is being pushed out here is being pushed out on other places around the globe, man. All right, so this is one big law that's being enacted around the whole globe. So it causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that have the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And it's getting to that point now to where, it's going to be kind of hard, for a while. I don't know about in every state, but I know here in Florida, for a while you couldn't go inside none of the stores unless you wanted to participate with this thing over your face, right? They wasn't allowing you in the stores. Even if you had the money and everything like that, they was not allowing you inside the store. And now you're starting to see, if you don't have these certificates and these passports to go anywhere, you won't be able to travel, get a job, and a lot of these different things like that. This is what they're proposing in a lot of different sectors around the globe, man. All right. You have plenty of articles that's talking about these things like that. So these are all ideas that they're proposing right now. All right. So what is actually speaking? The things that we've been telling you about and warning you about, are they actually speaking loud and clear? Or is it these absurd things like, the so-called white woman is what it is, like, or Jake to have guns, or the police officers just killing unarmed Jakes? I'm like, no, bro. The truth is being made manifest right now. All right, it's loud and clear what the truth is, because ultimately, the Most High has, how do I say, his elect, his prophets, the men that he chose to put the words into their mouths. All right, and all they're doing is speaking what the Lord says. All right, so hey, leave them alone. If it's if it's a man, it's going to come to naught. But you can't do nothing against the Most High, but for the Most High. All right, verse 18, here's wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. All right, or the 666. And again, we've gone into plenty of videos going into these things, about how do we know exactly what this thing is that they're talking about and everything like that. When we go into these words, and they'll tell you about how, this thing is being put inside of you by something like a stake or a palisade, or like a syringe of something of that sort. All right, and there's going to be a mark branded upon you as of, of ownership and things like that, man. All right, to cut into the flesh, with basically, you have a tool that's going to cut inside the flesh, like how when they put these things inside of you. All right. But nevertheless, you also see, not only with that, you see you don't have a lot of access to a lot of things. You can't fly, travel. They're trying to require you to have these so-called passports and things like that, left and right, man. All right. Let me go to. Let me read 2 first. Revelation 2:10. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. All right. Because a lot of these things is coming down the pipeline, and, people might be in a carnal sense and thinking, if I don't participate in this here situation, then I'm going to lose my job. And if I lose my job, I'm going to feed my kids, or how I'm going to pay my bills. Hey, man, don't fear those things, man. The Most High is going to provide, man. That's the one thing we need to understand and we need to keep in mind, is the Most High is going to provide. No matter what, he going to provide. When we left up out of Egypt, man, we ain't bring no food with us like that. Well, we did have some animals, but we ain't really bring no food with us for no 40-year journey. Basically, we was out in the wilderness for like 40 years, but we ain't bringing enough food for us with that, right? But guess what? The Lord provided for us. We ain't have no water, but guess what? The Lord provided for us, man. We ain't have no defenses out there, but guess what? The Lord provided for us, man. All right, and you can look at all the other men that was before us, man. The Lord provided for us, man. All right, so it says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. All right, so hey, you may have to suffer some of these things, man. All right, it says, behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that you may be tried. All right, like we just read, about how they want to, mandate some laws of imprisoning people up to 5 years, or charging them up to, I believe, $27,000. All right, all these different things, man. Hey, don't fear none of these things, man. Don't waver with your beliefs over. Oh, man, they might throw me in jail over this, man. They might fine me X amount of dollars for this. So what if they do, man? The Lord can either A, pay that fine for you, or B, comfort you while you're in prison, get you out of prison, make sure you never even go to prison. All right, so either way, you have to understand the Lord will still provide, right? It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that you may be tried, and you shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. All right, so hey, you got to be faithful even unto death. Even if they want to put you to death for these things, man, stand firm, stand strong for the Lord. All right, and the Lord is going to provide for you, man. All right, because, all the things that you're doing, you think you're standing up for the Lord right now, you fighting the fight and everything else like that. But at the end all be all, if you sit there and cower down at the very end, you know, hey, the Lord, all that is gonna go out the window for one. I'm like, yo, you couldn't even stand for me at the last moment when I was gonna come and, you know, glorify my own name using you through this here event. All right, you have to be mindful of these things, man. All right. Revelation 3:10 says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. All right, so this is the hour of temptation that's about to come upon the earth. All right, to basically see which word was it? So like, because when you go into these words, it'll tell you if I can get it over here, try and tried. When you go into these words, it'll pretty much break down to you some of the things you may be going through. All right, but let me just grab one or two of these words real quick. All right, this is perazzo. All right, going into the word for try. All right, well, there's a lot of this to go into. Let me just start at the top. It says to try whether a thing can be done, to attempt, to endeavor, to try, to make trial, to test the purpose of a certainty, his quality, or what he thinks, or how he will behave himself. You know, for instance, you say you about that life. Well, when, you know, shit hit the fan and you start running and cowering down, you wasn't really about that life. You could say whatever you want to say, but, you know, now we trying your, you know, in this sense, your faith. You say you believe, but let me just see. It says to try one's faith, virtue, character by enticing to sin. So you say, hey, look, I'm not going to sin. I'm not enticed to do this. Hey, look, I ain't going to eat the cake, or I ain't going to eat the cookies. All right, then your mama leave you at the house by yourself, and you right there with the cookies and everything. You know what I'm saying? You don't eat the cookies. Well, okay, you did well, but now let me try leaving you around the cookies while you starving, right? You starving, and you're like, look, don't eat the cookies. I'm going to provide for you. Just chill. You know, and then you like, no, I got faith, or I got self-discipline. I'm good. I'm not going to eat the cookies. And your mom come back and the cookies is all gone. Well, your excuse, well, I was hungry. Well, you didn't, you know, you was just trod in that sense, and you really wasn't really about that life that you said you was about, you know. So, and here we talk about we have the faith, and, you know, we believe, and we have all, you know, we're rooted in the Lord. All right, well, look, there's going to be some enticing things, some trials that's coming, trials and tribulations coming upon the earth. You say you really believe, you say you got your trust in the Lord, you say you have faith and everything else like that, but hey, at the first sign of uncertainty, you try to take it into your own hand and try to deliver your own self up out of these things, because look, you couldn't wait for the Lord to come through. You couldn't have faith in the Lord, you know. So anybody can say any of these things, but ultimately it's your actions going to show forth. All right. Technically that was the point. Going into a man's faith. All right. Or here's another one. It says of God to inflict evils upon one. It's like to inflict evils upon one in order to prove his character by his steadfastness in his faith. So, hey, the Lord will bring you through these here trials and tribulations and these torments to see if you really believe in him, if you're going to really call out to him, man. You know, people always say, oh, no, I'm going to call into the Lord. I'm going to always walk with the Lord. I'm going to always follow what the Lord say. But then the Lord put you in that, you know, trials of adversity and see how you really act, man. Now you have to show forth of all that big talk you was talking, man. All right. I like the scripture say, I'll show you. You say you have faith, but I'll show you my faith by my works. All right. You really showing forth that you're about that life by the actions that you're actually doing. All right. Let me go ahead and read this. We'll close out. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. And this is going back into what we read in Revelation 13, because this is going to come upon the whole earth to try the whole world, man. All right. But it's of, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans to, hold your faith, and stand fast on the words of the Lord, man. All right. Because ultimately, this is what was commanded of us, not all these other nations. So you can't really put in an effect to what, well, they took it. Well, I can't take it. Well, because the Lord holds you to a higher standard, man. All right. You say you believe and you trust in the Lord and everything else like that. We'll follow what his commandments are, man. All right. There should be no excuses. Well, I was going to lose my job. I got kids to feed. No, have faith, man. The Lord will deliver. The Lord will provide. All right. I believe it was Elijah who walked up. He was hungry. Walked up to this lady. The Lord sent him to this lady. And the lady, was saying, he told the lady, hey, fix me something to eat. And she said, I only got enough food for me and my sons. We was going to eat this last little bit, and then we was going to starve to death after that. You know what I'm saying? So you got to have that faith where it's like, yo, man, look, fix my food first and then fix their food after that. Have that type of faith. And she did exactly as he told her to do. And guess what? Not only did she fix him enough food, she reached back in and she fixed enough food for herself and for her children, and then they ate. All right. So, in her own carnal mind, from her looking from the outside in, from the beginning, she didn't even have enough for them to eat two portions or more than one meal. But then, looking at it with faith and through the eyes of faith, and they had enough food to eat, for a while. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, hey, man, this type of faith that we're going to have in these last days, man. So as we see these things and these moves being made and everything being shook up, we know what we have to do, and we know how we're going to have to walk in these days, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. Until next time, I say, call halal, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and ever will. And salutation and much love for you, I can pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.